Hello and welcome to another All Tower podcast. This week's Spoilercast was great as we had friend and author Jackie Gagne and the topic was vampires. We got down into her book Blood Rose as well as some great vampire movies and TV. Be sure to find her book on Amazon and check her site out at unhinderedarts.com. That's unhinderedarts.com. On the next Spoilercast, we'll be releasing a week early to get back on our normal release schedule. As you can remember a few weeks back, we skipped due to the holidays. We'll be having our long-absent co-host, D.A. Roberts, author of the Ragnarok Rising series, back on to plug his new book that takes place in Spellbook's own Infinite Black universe. The book is called Perdition Flames, The Lost Legion, and you can find it on Amazon, as well as D.A.'s small press indie publishing site, darkwaterfiction.com. After that, the boys and I, along with Flick Freaks, will be hitting up a wonderful topic near and dear to our hearts, Stephen King. We'll be happy to have the guys from Flick Freaks back to go over such a wonderful topic. Should be a great episode. Coming soon, the long-awaited Dungeon Cast. It will rather be called Diecast, and it will be a podcast put together by our own Mike, and will be our crew and friends role-playing. We look forward to bringing this to you as soon as possible. More information on that, keep your ear to the ground and on our website and our Facebook page. Again, we wish to thank Spellbook Studios for the use of their studio. Be sure to check them out on Facebook and spellbook.com and check out their games, The Infinite Black, and also coming soon, Dire. It looks amazing. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I keep bugging Dire Monkey to put it in my hands. We'll let you know more about that as it drops. Check out their Facebook page and website to keep your ear on that one. Speaking of ears, now perk up your ear holes, boys and girls, for another All Tower podcast recorded by the creatures of the night in Spellbook Studio.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Spoilercast by All Tower Media. We're again over here at the Spellbook Studios. Hi, Dire Monkey.
How's it going?
Well, you have a headset this time.
I do have a headset this time.
This is going to work out so much better than you trying to communicate with a dry erase board.
I'll still do that.
Yep.
Tonight we have Mike and Jareth with me as normal. Say hi, Mike.
Yeah.
Jareth.
Hello, Internet.
And then tonight we have a good friend of mine in. Published author, all sorts of good stuff. She does more than just that. She's photographer, painter.
Yeah. And business thing.
Business thing. You do
I yell at people for money.
You do all sorts of stuff. But I'm going to put a name to your voice now.
Are you sure? Do you remember it?
Do you want to go by Jackie or Jacqueline?
I don't care.
So I'm going to call you Jackie because that's what I've always gone by. So this is Jackie. Jackie has written a book called the Blood Rose Saga, which we just got done discussing the title because there's some wishy-washiness there for a moment.
He couldn't remember it.
It's not that I couldn't remember it. It's just that how many times have you changed it?
No. It's been published for a while now. It's set.
Okay. The fault is yours, Roper. Just admit it.
It's not mine. It's not. It's totally
always yours. Always.
I don't know. I'm not going to scroll through that conversation and find out that I was wrong, so.
I've got it right here in front of me. I can prove I'm right. I'm looking at it from July 10th.
Just don't look at it.
8:52 p.m. on Facebook. Anyone that has me as a friend or anybody that's been linked in with any of the comments that I made there. That's a thing. So, tell us about your book, Jackie.
Can you do that less creepily?
No.
Thank you.
He usually does it more creepily, if that's a word, which it can be.
It is now.
Yeah, I'll put it in the book. Put it in the next book for you. Creepily.
More creepily.
Just creepily.
Most creepily. All one word.
Yeah, that'll work.
So, what exactly is it about?
The book is about vampires that do not sparkle.
That don't sparkle, folks.
That's correct. They do not sparkle.
Jareth
they are not
sparkles.
made of stone.
Do they glimmer?
They do not glimmer.
Shimmer?
No shimmer.
Gleam?
No glitter.
Are they ravenous? Do they devour people? That's what I want to know.
There is a lot of blood.
Good.
My favorite characters get hurt the most. You will discover that in every book that I write. The more I like them, the worse I'm going to treat them. And the primary character in this book is Leanna. and I pretty much kill her in about 3 different scenes. In fact, in the very last scene, since this is Spoilercast, she does die.
Thank you.
I murder her.
Thank you.
Violently.
Thank you.
Like 3 times in
I'm
a
gonna
row.
high five you right now.
Wow.
Spoilers.
Yeah,
Kick
she
you
dies.
in-
And it's
She
great.
does-
But you know what's great? There's actually 5 books in this series, but she dies.
Does she continue on in the rest of the series?
I guess you'll have to find out.
There's a limit. There's a limit.
There's
to
a
the
limit. I'm
spoilers.
only allowing spoilers for the first book and one from the third because it's epic.
Okay.
So, is she or was she a vampire before, or was she human?
She was human before she died, yes.
That is unfortunate.
That was unfortunate for her. But everybody called her barely human because she's almost as klutzy as I am. I mean, I walk straight into walls. She just
So,
clipped them.
Being barely human isn't a compliment in any way.
No, it's not.
So then, if she's human, are the vampires good guys or bad guys?
Well, it depends if they like you. Yeah, you know.
So they're just guys.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
You know,
bros.
she's a chick, and
They're bros.
yeah.
So, vampires murdering children?
Not in this book.
Okay.
Not in this book.
That's a weird caveat. Okay.
Yeah. Not in this book.
Because I'm trying to
but-
find, like, because maybe not good guys, but
And it's not just vampires. They're primarily vampires. The book centers around vampires, but there's a lot of other things. There will be zombies.
way better.
There will be vampire zombies, actually.
That is a
Sounds like a problem.
fantastic sequel to There Will Be Blood.
Yes, there will be a lot of blood.
will
In
be
fact,
zombies.
I will tell you this. There is an army of zombies.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Are
So
there
if you like
werewolves?
zombies, there are werewolves and there are werepanthers. And in fact, at one point, here's a good spoiler for you. She gets gutted by a tiger. So quite frankly, yeah, I torture her
Were-tiger?
repeatedly.
Just regular tiger.
At the moment, he's a regular tiger.
At the moment.
At the moment.
I like that.
Yeah.
Wow,
You're
lots
leaving
of
a lot of room for growth on
I
a lot
am.
of these problems.
So we're going to back up. It is about a mortal girl who is haunted by the dead people in her dreams. She has to live through every one of their deaths.
Okay.
And she feels it. And she wakes up covered in blood.
So is that
and covered
how
in dirt.
She gets gutted by a tiger and
No,
then continues?
not in the slightest.
Oh,
actually.
no, that actually just happens in the regular way.
It does.
Okay.
But that is in book 3. So you
Oh.
have to read book 1 and 2 first, and then book 3.
You just spoiled that she's in book 3.
I know. I never said she didn't come back.
You
Never
didn't.
said it.
That's true.
I avoided that question.
This is classic gotcha journalism.
I know, right? I'm good at this.
So let me. Okay, so they don't glitter. They don't sparkle. They're not these lovey-dovey, gooey-eyed people.
No, they're
that-
actually
that-
extremely possessive.
that everybody and their brother is so used to now, which they shouldn't be because that's not what it's.
No, not necessarily. Twilight was a totally separate thing there. I mean,
Right.
you still have True Blood, and
Which is still basically the same thing in my mind.
there's a lot of blood, but there's also a lot more sex.
Yeah.
And that's...
Yeah, it's soft
it-
porn.
Yeah, it's not really, depending which episode you
Nice
watch.
arm pump, Rob. I'm not even going to do the dire monkey on that one.
The mic didn't pick up your arm pump, but we saw it.
Yeah, I got
Because
that
was muted.
right out of the corner of my eye. I see. So, where do you derive your vampires from?
Yeah, I was
There's
actually
like a
that's
few
kind of my
seconds from
thing.
that same
Yeah.
question.
And Rice.
Yeah.
What any good vampire author has experienced firsthand. Very first vampire book I ever read was Anne Rice. So,
I'm in agreement.
Which one?
Queen of the Damned.
Hell yes.
It's my favorite.
Hell yes. Excellent movie too. I actually enjoyed it.
Yes, but nothing like the book.
Yeah, I know. But most movie renditions of books aren't
No, not
close to
really.
the same. They're similar. They share a similar title.
Yeah, exactly. They share the title,
And they
which is
have this-
always a great thing.
They have this little thing that says based on whatever by
Not
whatever.
even that.
It's
World
like
War Z only shared a title.
yeah,
Yeah,
no
oh
shit.
yeah.
So it's like when movies say based on a true story. It's like
Yeah.
it was based on it, wasn't
hate
it?
that. Well, there were people, and they were driving in a car, and that
of-
part's
And things
true.
happened.
And then the Sasquatch came out of nowhere, and we can totally. And then they were abducted by aliens, but it's all based on a true story. Yes,
Based
there
on a
was
true
family.
story that my friend Joe told me.
Yeah,
He truly told a story.
3 times removed.
None of this actually happened, but
No.
the story was true.
Yeah.
He told the story, but it didn't actually happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah, that's
story
kinda
was
what I
true,
do.
though. Like, the story existed.
Yeah. That's what I do. I tell true stories that I actually wrote.
Exactly.
There you
So
go.
they're true stories.
True stories made up.
Put it
by
on
you.
top of every one of your books.
So
Based on a true story. Every one of them needs to have that now.
Especially
Halfway
with
through, people-
vampires.
Exactly.
Halfway through, every reader's going to be like, "Oh my god!"
I actually got into an argument with a woman. Well, she started arguing. I started laughing because I like to hurt my people. I like to hurt the characters.
Yeah.
And she was very upset that I allowed them to continue to live, even though I'd pretty much murdered them. And they're still walking. They're not undead. They're just limping around. And she said it was impossible. Well, I proved her wrong, but still.
Don't ever set the bar where you think she can't go, because that doesn't happen.
You're right. It doesn't.
It doesn't. You're like, you can't. That can't be done. It's
Jackie.
like, listen, I'm writing science fiction. Anything can happen in science fiction.
Exactly.
So
I want to tell you something. You can't give me $1 million. You can't do it. It's impossible.
now in a
And you
book, she
can't give
could,
me
and
$1
that's
million
based
and
on
In a book, I could. I could name a character after you and give him $1 million, make him
And-
win the lottery, give him $1 billion,
And-
and then crash him in an airplane.
and
knew it.
and
Let him walk away.
and it's all based on a true story.
That's right.
Then I'll get mauled by a
Because I told
tiger
story.
in real life.
That
No.
would be your luck.
My little raptor Rex, he can eat you.
You have Jackie has a pet raptor.
No context. Yeah, just she has a pet.
It's just she has a pet. That's all I'm going with. Which we were talking about last
We
week's
have-
episode.
His name's Nick Rexy. So
Rexy. Yeah, so Rexy the raptor, we were talking about the last episode that we did, which was the Jurassic Park episode, which if you guys haven't had a chance to go and listen, go give it a listen. And
And if you haven't had a chance to go see that movie, go see that movie.
it's very good. I have to say it's really, really good.
See, what I haven't told any of them yet is I have not seen the movie.
Jurassic
In fact,
World.
the last new movie I saw, I think, was John Wick, and that's probably like a year old.
See, I want to do a show about John Wick.
How was that?
I haven't seen it yet.
Me either.
But it looks great.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
good.
It looks great.
It's very good.
I really want to do an episode for us where it's like nothing but revenge flicks, and to my understanding, it's a revenge flick because they kill his dog.
That's a fantastic idea.
It is probably the best revenge flick I have ever seen.
It gets his dog. We are way off vampires,
We
but at
are.
the moment, suddenly we became the revenge episode.
Well, there's some of that in the books. I
Is
mean,
there? Hey, there you go,
Yeah,
segue.
it gets into that. That's more towards book 3 again. But there's definitely some revenge there.
Is that her getting revenge on the people who have essentially murdered her
Jareth?
a couple of times?
God damn it.
No, they're already dead. You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, okay.
So,
But
The worst
she
one-
doesn't get to exact that revenge.
oh, she does. She does. While they're killing her, actually,
Oh.
she's killing them, and she's plotted this out, and she goes right along with it, and that's the reason she dies.
She
Wow.
should probably be a better planner.
You would think so, but sometimes shit happens.
That's true. That's true.
Best laid
So-
plans and all that.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Something about the road to hell paved in glass.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So knowing that we were going to do a vampire podcast, I was like, I should do a little more intense research on vampires. We're also about to do a role play set in an urban fantasy setting.
Yeah, I was about to say we need to
That
talk
will be
about that.
public. Maybe we will talk about it. So I was like, maybe I should know my shit just a little bit more. And
You failed at that a little bit.
man, there's like a lot of vampires.
See,
There's a million different kinds of vampires, and I
we're
know
dis-
about half of them.
we're discussing about the what he's talking about the new show we're getting ready to start doing.
Mm-hmm.
Vampires are kind of a key element in that.
Yeah,
They are at least an element.
they're weird and
yes.
different there. What I think is interesting is like when you look through, there's literally like a Wikipedia of like types of vampires.
Yep.
So when things start to really solidify is Bram Stoker, obviously. I mean, he fucking invented vampires.
Modern vampires.
Oh
anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, at least because before that,
They were mostly just gross and really bad.
Yeah.
if a black cat jumps over the open grave of a dead person, he's going to be a vampire. Like that's what it was before.
The cat or the dead guy?
Both.
Exactly, both. You have to go back.
You have to have a male and female.
just-
you have to have a male and female of both species. Okay.
It's really better to be safe in those instances. Just kill the cat and the dead guy.
Exactly. What was it you said?
bury them
during-
with stakes in their heart, and you're good.
What was it you said? 3 episodes back now? An overreaction is the appropriate reaction.
Oh yeah, with anything supernatural, overreact first.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I just quoted Jareth, but most people couldn't tell because their voices are apparently identical.
No, they're not identical. They're similar.
Similar, whatever.
That's pronounced similar.
Son of a. How is it he gets on to me about words we use?
So anyway, I feel like Anne Rice is kind of the main person who went back to Bram Stoker and sort of she did her own take on it, and like solidified it in this particular way, and made really excellent vampires that have pretty much stayed. Like everyone pretty much uses Anne Rice's vampires unless they're stupid.
Well, they use at least a modification of.
Oh yes,
yeah. For the most part, she's like the Tolkien of like urban fantasy when it comes to like vampires.
I think you're right.
She is.
Have you watched the Strain?
No.
Vampire aliens?
They're not aliens.
They're not aliens. They're worms, though.
They're parasites.
They're gross.
Yeah, they're a parasite, and I don't know. It's actually a really cool concept. I really like.
I've
what they've
seen
done
that
with
concept a few times, but I haven't heard of the Strain.
Is it a cool concept? Is there tigers?
There's no tigers.
I know a book where there's tigers and vampires.
And what's the name of that book?
Blood Rose Saga.
There you go.
Should have said Sage.
By the way, that
Blood Rose Sega.
No, it wasn't Sega. He said it was Josh. Josh, this is for you. We are talking directly at you at the moment. Okay, so we have all of the other viewers that we get to hit our YouTube page. They got all this other stuff, but we are at this very second, Josh, because I know you're going to be listening to this at a later point in time. We are talking to you
While you are editing this.
While you are editing this, you are going to be listening to this, and you're going to know that there are 4 of us in this room that are talking to you. It is not Blood Rose Sage. It's Saga.
Josh, put down the pen. Put down the pen. Take your hand off the mouse. I want you to just look right at the screen right now at the sound waves that are happening on your screen. Blood Rose Saga.
Saga.
S-A-G-A. Sage is S-A-G-E.
Wait, it's not S-A-J-E?
No. Now that we're done ripping on him.
Well, hold on. Josh, you can now do whatever you want. Relax. I love you, buddy. Thanks for editing all these episodes.
Yeah, you do a great job editing all
Thanks,
this stuff.
man.
Just learn how to spell.
No, read. He can spell.
He can spell. He just needs to.
I don't know him, but I'm going to say he can spell.
He needs to word good.
Yeah.
He know word good.
Love you, Josh. What were we talking about?
The Strain was the last thing.
Oh, The Strain. Okay.
You
I
haven't
need this,
watched that at all,
I
though.
need this explained to me at least a cursory level.
So it starts off with an airplane that lands, and
Everybody's dead.
Everybody in there's dead.
Everybody.
Mm-hmm. And
plane lands. It goes silent on the tarmac.
Yep.
And they're like, "Da fuck."
And so they send out a crew, and then they find that it's a ghost plane. Everybody in there's dead, so they lock it down, and they send in the CDC. Sorry. Don't do that. He about fell off his perch.
I almost died, everybody.
Internets, we almost lost an icon. So,
I'm a meme.
so CDC gets there, and people start waking up. Not everybody. There's only, 7?
12 or something? No, it's like 6 or something crap like that.
It's small. There's only a handful of them that actually start waking up, and they quarantine them, and everybody...
Because they all seemed dead, and then they wake up.
They're not seeming... They're dead. They're all dead.
Well, the reason I say that is because the CDC sends in doctors who've examined them, and then they get up, so...
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah,
okay?
they're dead.
They're dead. And then all of a sudden, they're not dead. And everybody's like, the fuck? And so then they're running through, and they're checking all this stuff out, and of course, they're still quarantined, and everybody starts raising a stink about how they just need to be released, and these people get released. And while all this confusion is going on, the flight manifest, which shows that there was a package that was on board that's not accounted for because they have everything from the actual ship.
It's a big-ass, super ornate box.
Yeah, it's just a big wooden box.
Full of dirt.
Yeah.
So it's Pandora's box.
They have no fucking clue what it is because there's nothing on it about the flight manifest, right? And so they've isolated that this is like an anomaly. We're like, well, what is this and why is it here? And then the next thing you know, it disappears. And so they start playing back the video footage. And
there's this weird blur.
And it like swoops in, scoops up this giant crate, which they say is like 1,000-something pounds.
It was super big.
It's huge.
And it was full of dirt.
Completely full of dirt. And it just scoops it up, and disappears. And you're like, what the hell was that? Well, now this thing is loose in the city, and the people get out of quarantine, and of course they're infected as well. And
It's all being orchestrated by the Stoneheart group.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it's
like
because this old
corporation.
man he's found that there's this vampire that exists that could allow him to live forever. And
And he's dying.
So wow, a lot of intrigue and conspiracy here.
Actually, the intrigue pretty much stops around episode 2.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Once the vampire is out of the airport, it's no longer really intrigue. It's
Yeah.
more of just, we own you.
Yeah, oh yeah. And
Okay.
and it's the CDC, it's the guy from the CDC who's trying to get ahead of it because he recognizes that there's this plague that's occurring and he doesn't know what it is. And yeah, it's kind of odd, but everybody
It is neat, though.
Yeah, everybody
So are
gets-
these vampires true immortals?
Well,
they haven't really
there's 2 different types,
You don't know
apparently. Because there's some that are essentially zombie vampires.
Yeah.
They're basically worthless.
Yep,
And
they're
then
throwaways,
they've revealed 2 of them. The Master, the big vampire, is one of them.
which he's like 12 foot fucking tall.
yeah,
and
he's not
looks
even
like a
human,
giant
pretty much.
fish.
I just pictured Men in Black, that big bald guy in the trench coat.
Here, I will find you a picture. It is atrocious.
He's got a weird, freaky fish mouth. It's gross.
Oh, that's odd.
If Josh were here, he would say that it looks cool.
He does. Josh actually likes the Master, and I disagree entirely. I think he looks fucking ridiculous. This is the Master from The Strain.
He at least looks unique.
I don't like him.
But
He's
there's
got really big lips.
I don't like him.
Big kissable lips.
He is literally
He's had some injections there
here.
or something.
He's like 7 feet tall, and like I was telling Jareth earlier, he looks so much better when they just left him.
he's kind of scary. It's
Yeah,
just
you just
a
left him as
fluttering
this
cloak.
Yeah, it's just this giant cloak that just keeps flying all over the place.
yeah, that's really cheesy looking.
Man, that makes me think, like, because I was just thinking, like, well, that's so scary. Not too many vampires are actually like scary, like monsters, you know?
I do have a book coming out with scary vampires that are like that, but it won't be out until late next year.
Damn it.
See now,
Damn.
this right here.
It's not ready.
They've got these like tentacle things that fly out of their mouth.
Like lamprey-esque latch thingies.
What are these?
This is
how they
the-
drink.
This is the strain.
This is an audio podcast.
No, that
the
is a
strain.
ripoff of Blade.
Oh yeah, no,
It is.
absolutely. It looks just like the creatures from Blade.
Wait, do they,
not all of them?
I want to say, what is that?
In Blade, do
Movie
they have
3?
ejections? Because I
One
thought
of
that
them
they
does.
just latched the things.
Oh, I see.
They have these, yeah.
Well, these guys actually
Flappy.
launch a kind of a proboscis
Yeah.
at you. And it latches on, and they drain you.
But at the same time that they're draining you, it's also dumping in these little parasites, which eventually converts your entire system over to this, which is almost the same thing as what I was telling you from the comic book that I was reading forever ago, and I, for whatever reason, cannot remember the name of the comic book series. but
Help us, viewers.
if someone knows what the hell I'm talking about.
Vampire worms, go!
Basically, yeah, it's a parasite that drains all the blood out of the host body, rendering it completely dead.
Yeah.
It manifests within itself or within the corpse and takes over the ingestion system. There is a tubing that comes up through the throat.
Ingestion system?
Digestive.
Yeah.
Okay, shut up. Just because you're a medical
You
professional.
gonna teach him to word?
No.
Hey, I paid lots of money for that degree.
Yeah, he is a medical professional. If we all have any type of medical issue, unless you're a vampire, he can fix it.
Hey, I think my arm's broke. Can you fix it?
Josh, I'm having trouble.
Yeah, rub some salt
not
on it.
Josh.
Okay.
Josh?
I don't know.
Josh, I'm having trouble pooping. I was going to ask Rob about it, but he's busy with Jareth's thing, so.
So it goes up its
Here,
throat.
try this pen.
It goes.
Thank you.
Eat it. Work it out with a pencil. So, it has these tubes that come down and has the fangs, and that's what protrudes from its mouth, and that's where it feeds from. But then it has these neural connections that go up and attach to the dead corpse's brain, which allows it to get up and move it around. So it's able to blend in. So the body itself is dead, and it has this thing within it that requires to feed off of somebody else, and it's all self-contained, so it feeds, but it's able to get up and move things around and whatever. But you've essentially got a walking corpse, and that's exactly what it's supposed to be. Beheading works.
Yeah,
It's a lot more like zombies than vampires.
Kind of, but it's an
mutated zombies.
But it's an alien.
Speaking of zombie vampires, actually, since this is our vampire episode, a couple of episodes back, we brought up Omega Man and I Am Legend.
Yep.
I love that movie.
Those are vampires.
Are they?
Both of those are
Yes.
based on a book. They're vampires.
So?
You said I was wrong and that they were zombies, and I'm
No,
telling you, you're wrong.
It's definitely vampires. Definitely.
Thank you.
So anyway, comic book, worm, alien, vampires. I think it's interesting how it fulfills all of the things that it ticks off all the boxes of like what a vampire is supposed to do, but it's like kind of sci-fi. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I said just based off of the 3 or 4 pages I was reading on it, it looked really, 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 really good. They still haven't figured out what this is. Jareth, any idea? You remember the soldier dude that is like in opposition of
the weird
master?
guy with the stitches.
They're
I assume that the elders that he's talking about are other creatures like the master.
There are in the strain. There is the master, which is trying to basically unleash this plague and dominion over everything and all that good stuff. But then these guys in these,
they show up in like the last 2 to 3 episodes.
they're like samurai, ninja, super warrior, vampire guys. All
more
gussied
ninja
up.
than anything else.
Yeah.
They use like these really neat guns.
Yeah, but it's really strange because they show up, they find people that have been infected by stuff from the master, and they're like the same, right? Well, you assume they're the same because he's also like that, and yet he finds people that have been infected with stuff and he just flat out kills them.
Yeah.
And it's very peculiar, and I like it. I still haven't figured out what their deal is though.
And like the last episode, they bring the one character that they've been showing that isn't with the main group to meet like the elders, and they're like, "You're gonna help us."
See, and it's actually this guy in this picture that I showed you here. He's the guy that was hired to actually get the master's crate out of the airport in the very first episode.
Okay, I'm going to say that's actually a ripoff of another vampire book.
What's that?
Christopher Farnsworth. He is actually one of my all-time favorite vampire writers. Now, while Anne Rice may have inspired me when I was 10, Christopher Farnsworth is a god.
Yeah.
He wrote the President's Vampire series, which I actually picked up thinking it was a comedy. It is not, because it's the President's Vampire. That just sounds funny, but it turned out to be one of my favorite series. The president has his own vampire. Of course, what president wouldn't want a vampire, right?
Yeah, I
He's
would
been
have
around
one.
since like Grant, I think, and he's a real badass, and he's really mean, and he's really cold. He has like no emotion, traditional vampire. He's a lot more traditional, and he rips things apart, and I'm fairly certain that badass trained CIA type vampire.
They actually seem to have a squadron of them at least. So
No, there's
Yeah.
only one.
no, I mean in this.
Yeah,
they have
in the
squadron.
strain, there's
that's
a whole
different.
team.
Yeah.
It's an eradication team.
So vampires in the strain, are we garlic? Does that hurt them? Does steaks hurt them?
Silver hurts them.
Yes.
Beheading hurts them.
Yes.
Sunlight hurts them.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends. The master, it doesn't.
Well, it hurt him,
He didn't like it.
but he didn't die. They should have chopped his ass while he's out there being all squiggly.
Yeah, they
They never do that in movies. The guy's
no.
down and they just run away so he can
They
get
got
back
him.
up.
They got him all the way up on top of this tower. They started shooting out all the fucking windows, and of course he's like, "I don't like this." And they're thinking it's getting ready to, fucking destroy him. And the next thing you know, he like dives out the window in full sunlight and
Goes out into the subway. Yeah.
and the main character, what's that old man? What would you qualify him as?
Satrakian.
yeah,
That guy.
What would you qualify him as? He's the group's.
He's the mentor. Easily.
He's not a leader. He's just this crotchety old man that has this.
He's the mentor because he's the only character who has effective knowledge against them.
But his effective knowledge in the very last episode was like total.
Yeah, he
garbage.
learned something new.
Yeah, he's like, that was supposed to kill him, and everybody's like, what the fuck?
It kills the littler ones,
Oh yes,
which obviously he's never killed the master before. So,
true.
shocker, he didn't know how to do it.
He has this
Yeah.
giant sword cane that's made of silver. which is kind of amazing.
He also uses a silver nail gun.
Yes, he does.
It's weird. Does silver, is that a thing that normally hurts vampires?
Normally, yes. Not mine,
Okay.
but normally.
Okay,
Depends on the
It
mythology.
also came from werewolves.
Yeah.
And it kind of spread out to vampires
Well,
and any supernatural creature.
What? There was a movie I'm wanting to say that it starts with the silver that Judas takes.
I'm
Andy,
still
wanna talk about
looking
that?
for
yeah,
Is it
that's Dracula 2000.
Was it Dracula 2000?
Oh, yeah. I
Well,
forgot.
there was the one with the spear.
I don't
wasn't that,
remember Spear.
I just remember it was because of the acceptance of the silver coins, and that's where
Oh, okay.
may have actually been a supernatural episode.
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, Supernatural just goes up and they use standard, like, Lowe's grade fucking machetes and chop people's heads off, and that's how you deal with vampires in that.
Yeah.
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 Because just chopping off a person's head is muy effective.
Yes.
Muy.
It pretty much kills anything. I mean, at least if you burn the rest of it or something.
Right.
It's something.
Yeah, I would say 99% of organisms die if you remove their head. Mm-hmm. The other 1% are things that don't have a head.
Like cockroaches. You could remove a cockroach's head and it doesn't immediately kill it.
Nothing
Not
kills
immediately.
cockroaches.
But it will eventually die.
Eventually.
Because it starves to
age.
death. That is the reason it dies, is because it starves to death.
That's not cool.
No, that's
You didn't know that
creepy.
about cockroaches?
Cockroaches are super well evolved.
Yeah,
Yes.
they are.
If they were big, they'd be a much bigger
Yeah.
They would be
problem.
a
If they were
very
big,
big problem.
we wouldn't be
We
here.
wouldn't exist.
No.
We
They
would have
be-
suffocated on cockroaches, and that's terrifying. Let's move on.
We're compounding Mike's fears tonight.
Yeah,
Can't
this is
even
great.
kill them with nuclear weapons. The one thing we've got on everything
Yeah.
on the planet.
So I will nuke you, and cockroach is like, suck a dick.
A shark's like, I learned how to fly. I'm like, we've got nuclear weapons. A spider's like, I'm giant now. We've got nuclear weapons.
Cockroaches, you're like,
We're boned.
Chop my head
We're
off, and I'm
screwed.
still going to scuttle around here for a little.
Yeah, I mean, all cockroaches do is like scuttle around all creepy like and look slimy. That's enough. That's enough right there.
Gross.
So, how many of you all have seen Dracula Untold?
I have.
What'd you think?
I liked it. It was not what I expected.
I had an issue
but
with
I
how it
liked
ended.
See, I liked the way it ended.
I didn't, because it makes him this self-loathing creature.
How did it end?
See, every vampire, when it comes to literature, when it comes to any type of movie, 99.9% of them are self-loathing.
Show me a happy vampire.
No,
I don't know.
But that's
Name one.
Oh, Count Chocula. There you
bam,
go.
bam. She did it.
He's pretty happy.
He
She
is.
did it.
But I feel
Guys,
like
he cries on the inside.
I know. I feel like that's just his his
But
face.
He's
He's just
feeding
putting
on
on a strong.
chocolate.
He's just putting on a strong face for the kids.
I feel like when he goes back to his castle, he's just crying and looking out the window sadly as raindrops fall.
What
his
about
tragic,
the Count off Sesame
Count.
Street?
his
Count
tragic,
off Sesame Street. Hell
Cute
yeah.
kids, can you tell?
He is throwing down f bombs constantly though, and
Every time he says it's actually him going fuck.
yeah,
I
it's.
hate my life.
No, I'm actually referencing that video where he's counting and they just beep out what he's counting. And
Yeah.
It sounds really profane. I think he has a dark side too.
Count
Yeah.
Chocula's
But you're right.
tragic flaw isn't that he has to eat people; it's that he's slowly killing himself through diabetes.
That's good. That's
I hate you.
impressive.
This is the
I
monster
hate
we
you.
made him.
I hate you.
So, oh god. So yeah, no.
What about Bunicula?
Oh my god!
Bunicula was like an asshole.
This is like
So,
one of my favorite books when I was a kid.
But he's happy.
It's a
So
bunny.
we've named 3.
It's a bunny. It just looks happy.
It's a white
anyway.
Why do you keep poking holes in the options we've given? You're like, name one. We named 3.
None of them worked.
No.
Most of the soulless vampires ever depicted
Look, I
are
don't-
not really.
I don't want to hear it.
stop.
I'm moving on.
The vampire monster at the beginning of Dracula Untold. The only problem he had with life is the fact he was trapped in the cave.
I haven't seen it anyway. But moving
That's
on.
true.
He didn't have a fucking problem.
Yeah, he was very
didn't
happy
have
with all his
problem
power.
one with what was going on with him, and
Nope.
the only thing that he had to complain about was he had to sit in the cave and wait until somebody came and asked
his
him for
ass
his
out,
power.
yeah.
And when he was let out, I guarantee you he is the most content monster there is.
Oh,
Yeah.
he showed up at the end, all right.
And that's what I hate about that. I hated the way that ends. They portray, so it's supposed to be the origin story of like Dracula and how Dracula became Dracula.
Well,
right?
to be fair, it did seem to sync up with the Bram Stoker representation of Dracula.
Right. No, the final scenes is where I think the story breaks. So he's got the Turks, right?
Yeah.
The Turks are trying to come in and take over everything, and they're threatening his family, and he doesn't have the means of dealing with this. So
he goes, hangs out with a demon vampire, and he's like, "Give me your power.
Give me your power."
And it
the
works.
guy's like, "Okay." So then he gets his power, and he becomes this.
I don't know. In the very last scene, he did not look like a self-loathing vampire to me.
No.
He looked like he was about to mac on that chick, and I did not put this on vibrate.
What the
Fired.
He's not fired. We need him.
Yeah, we do need him.
So the thing,
Your phone is fired.
Your phone is fired.
It was Dan.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I hope Dan's text was like, "Hey, are you guys recording?"
Are you in the studio right now? Roper just sent me a friend request on Facebook.
No, he asked me to tell him more about my character for the diecast.
Ah.
Oh man, I just noticed a critical problem with that name. It sounded like he said Dykecast.
Dyke? No, it's die. As in
Diecast.
Die, motherfucker.
Diecast.
No,
What,
no
it's like-
dice. Not
Yeah,
like,
it sounds like dice.
Okay, good.
It
Good.
does.
Then that was me.
It sounds nerdy, so
it's
you're
just
good.
you. Yeah, we're
Excellent.
rocking.
I
So-
also actively split those two up so that it sounded less like one word. I
Yeah.
didn't say diecast, I said diecast.
So, okay.
Whoa, we're off the
back
rails.
to what we were talking about
Thanks,
just a moment ago. So, he gets powers. He can turn into bats. He can.
Which was pretty cool.
I thought that was phenomenal.
They
he
did a
Turn
really
into
good
a
job with that.
shitload of bats.
Yes.
shit ton of bats. He can control
And he can call
bats.
bats. Yeah.
He could turn
Because
into
he-
like all of the bats.
all the whole world's bats all in one spot, and he uses them as a giant fish to crush armies, and it's
Pretty
amazing.
wicked. Yeah, I like
he
that
bat
one.
punches an army.
He bat
does.
punches an entire army from on high. He's just like, rah, boom! And there's
Batman-
an explosion of bats everywhere.
So Batman's like watching.
No,
Oh, Batman
Batman's-
has nothing on him.
Batman would have been one of the things flying
Yeah, he
around.
would.
This
out
is
there.
like Batman porn.
Because-
Batman watches this and
because-
he's like, oh.
Dracula would be like, "You're under my control," and Batman would be like, and he'd take off and go flying with the rest of the bats because he doesn't have any control over himself. But
Also, this gave him the power to fly in this scenario.
yeah, he can turn into bats. He's super fast. He's super strong.
Can't hang out in the sunlight for long.
Yeah, it's short periods, but he can do it.
It's not fun.
He devours things, but all the while he has this overwhelming sense of compassion because
no.
he's trying to take care of every one of
His son. It's
all
about
of
his son.
It's all about his kid. Every bit of it is about his kid.
Well, his wife a little bit too,
Well,
but he doesn't devour things.
That didn't really work out, so
Yes and no.
it became all about the boy.
Yeah, it's all about the son, and that's where I take issues because there at the very end is where
The
I
boy's
start
not
running.
there that we see.
No, what I take issue with is not the final scene where he's in the,
Okay. In the
where he's in
present.
New York in present times. It's just before that when he's turning them loose because his son's been captured and he basically raises every one of his fellow villagers as vampires, and then
Yeah.
he and his little army of vampires go in and they start devouring everybody, right? And he's just flat out killing everything, and they're devouring everyone, and everyone's getting turned into vampires, and it's this perpetuating army of vampires, right? And it's ever growing. And he gets inside, he defeats the Turkish dude that he's out
was
to
kind of his adopted brother.
yeah, he ends up destroying him, but they fight in a whole room of silver. Right? There's like silver coins.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, there's
Oh, I
silver
remember the
coins everywhere,
coins.
and
Okay.
he keeps slicing bags and flicking them at him, and he's got silver everywhere, and so it's a struggle. Right, but he ends up defeating him. He saves his son. And he walks back outside, and every one of his monsters that he's created to come here and save his son now wants to eat his son.
Yeah, they want to nom on.
And he doesn't want that to happen. And because he doesn't want that to happen, they're now the enemy. And he goes out of his way and kills
Every single one of them.
all of his people. Right, everybody he was trying to save that he converted over and used as a
No,
force.
I don't look at it that way. I think he had a plan. He knew exactly what would happen because his son was the last human being.
Right.
And of course they would go after him. He wasn't stupid.
No, he's not. And I'm
I
not
think
saying
he
he's not.
was totally cool with going after him.
Not to mention that everybody he turned into those things,
here's
they aren't
my-
looking at vampires as like an okay thing.
But listen,
they're a problem.
Here's my complaint. Okay, what should have happened in my mind was the son should have died.
See, I think he becomes a vampire.
No, listen. What I think is that the son should have died at the hands of the Turk, and then he would have killed the Turk, because then he would have gone back outside, and the only family there, the only thing he has to attach to is what he's already created that was there with him, and he would be the monster that everybody portrays him as. Right? He would then have his family of vampires, and he'd have no caring in the world.
Traditional Dracula did not have a family of vampires.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is that by doing what they've done, he wipes all the other ones else. He wipes all the other ones out.
See,
right?
This is why I honestly think they should have made a second. I would have totally seen a second one.
Well, they set it up. They've postured it for
exactly, but they're not going to.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, they're not going to. Maybe in 10 years.
It was a really good posturing for a second one, though.
It was. It was an
Big
excellent.
Papa Vampire's like, I'm calling in my debt.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. Everyone portrays Dracula as the monster, right?
Yep.
He is the monster. And the way it played out in those final scenes following him killing the Turkish leader and the son walking away with the priest, and then him killing all of the other vampires that were there with him, but he manages to survive.
Well, if they would have killed the son, isn't he narrating kind of at the beginning? The son?
I thought it was just the guy. I don't remember. I mean, it's been a long time.
The son says something about Dracula and like how I know him or something like that.
I still think that they intended a second movie and that the son survived and ultimately became a vampire. But I just think they never got the money to make that second movie.
I just hate the way it was postured. I think that if the son would have died, he would have been able to walk back outside, and maybe he destroys everybody.
See, you just like to kill things and little children.
Why can't you let things be good?
Why can't you love things be good?
Let things be good.
No, it was love. I heard love.
I heard love too.
I heard love.
Why can't you love good things?
Why can't you love things be good?
Answer the question.
Because it's Roper. It's just how it's always been.
Yeah. But you heard it too. Rock on for that.
I heard it.
You're ganging up on me.
So I liked the movie overall. I think they portrayed his powers well. I think they did all this stuff well. They did numerous good things, but those final scenes kind of break, in my mind, who he is or who he's supposed to be depicted as. And I think that if they would have killed off the son at that point in time, he one of two options. He either goes back outside and accepts the family that he's created for himself, but because we know that that's not in fact a thing, he goes back outside and throws a big tantrum and kills everything else there, but then he's left with literally nothing, and he has the opportunity to grow as the monster that we all know and love as who Dracula is. And I think that would have made a better monster.
Well, see, I'm biased because my vampires are generally moral. They do devour things. They do rip things apart. They're very brutal, but they are moral. And sunlight weakens them. They're fairly traditional, but not extremely traditional.
So they're not going to strangle a puppy for fun?
No, they're not. But they might go ahead and eat the puppy if they're hungry.
Speaking of...
They wouldn't do it for fun, but if they're hungry,
you say that,
nothing's
and
off
instantly
limits.
30 Days a Night jumps into my head.
Those guys were dicks.
Those guys are just animals, is what those were. Have you seen that?
I
one,
don't
Jackie?
remember that one, but I've seen a lot of the bad vampire movies.
Oh no, it's not. It's not. It wasn't bad.
It's not great.
No, but it wasn't bad.
Okay, what is the one where the guy jumps into the sunlight, lands in the water, and then becomes human?
Daybreaker.
Thank you. I've been trying to think of the name of that forever.
That one was unique.
That was
it's
odd.
different. It's very different.
Yeah.
If nothing else,
and then those
it inspired me.
Those that fed on a cured vampire.
Yep. I liked that.
Become human themselves, and so then it became this reverse effect. You could potentially have infinite life based off of that.
Exactly. And
that's a big problem, and that's going to ruin their world eventually.
It could have, but I mean, it definitely good premise there.
Yeah. It was wonderful. Yeah. I loved certain parts of that. Then there were other parts of it that I was like,
Okay, and what's the one where they're harvesting them and every freaking buddy is a vampire? Is it the same movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that's why it was like, it was taking
There's a few of those.
vampirism and expanding it into this sort of dystopian.
But they did both, right? So
Yeah.
all of the people that were vampires that were all bebopping around, just happy on life. But then in the sewers, you had those that were like starving, that were like devouring everything. So it gave you this hierarchy.
those.
So we get to talk about class and stuff there too.
It was kind of cool. And then you meet this pocket of people that...
Because you have to wonder, if a vampire has blood in it, and they feed off another vampire.
What happens?
What happens?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, I do go into what
Do
happens
you?
for mine.
I was wondering if you did.
Oh,
that.
yeah, I
Usually
do.
bad juju.
Yeah, there's always something
it's
different.
better than crack, but it's also 10 times worse.
Oh, okay.
I was
I mean,
thinking
think
like,
about
Isn't that
it.
technically dead man's blood?
Sort of, but it's also concentrated.
See, because Supernatural does that. Dead Man's Blood on a
Anne
vampire.
Rice
Yeah.
also does dead man's
there's also in
blood.
True Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So-
a pretty popular one.
Because that's how they get Lestat in Interview with a Vampire.
So that's what they're doing
Yes.
on. So I was
How come
actually
they don't get mad vampire disease like if cows eat?
See, that's
see,
kind
that'd
of
be
what
awesome.
happens to mine, though.
Mad Vampire Disease?
They go a little nuts. I mean, some of them go berserk, and they just literally are psychopaths.
They can't
blood
stand up
hungry.
and they fall over.
See, okay, Mike, what's the vampire role playing game?
Vampire the Masquerade.
There's a few of them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
which
Mike.
one?
depends
Well,
on
because
with or
he
without
would-
dice.
Line of sight, I guess. I don't fucking know.
Vampire Masquerade's the biggest one. I'm assuming that's what you meant.
Yeah, that's what I was going
Yeah.
for. They explore vampire hierarchy and all that good stuff.
Oh yeah, they go way
Heavily.
into the,
they do.
the
Yeah.
houses and things like that. As opposed to the one we'll be doing, which doesn't really have houses. Vampires are kind of just supernatural beings that exist in the tapestry of
Do they
life.
form gangs?
They can.
just like people can.
Yeah.
What
So
were you just talking about?
They can't really call them the Bloods because then they'd all be Bloods, right?
Can't be the Crips either.
Oh my god.
Maybe that's where it actually came from.
They're all vampires with
They're
guns.
all vampires. Oh, that needs to go on my parody.
So the
We're just high-fiving the shit out of each other over here. This is great.
So the Dead Man's Blood thing that actually made sense. So I'm watching Being Human. Roper's upset about that. It's
I
actually
I
actually
like that
it.
one.
It's- I'm not a
don't
fan.
like the English one. I think it's corny as crap.
I think that both of them. Okay, so I watched 3 seasons of it. And
that's more than I've seen.
yeah, no, it finally gets to a part where it's like this is the same shit over and over again.
I might get
Everything that
tired.
That's why I
happened in
quit watching.
everything that happened in season 1 and season 2 is in season 3, and I'm finally at the point where I'm like, I don't care anymore.
I really liked season 1 and season 2.
Yeah.
I've
And
seen
so I'm
2
done.
episodes.
Okay.
So it might have the heroes type of thing where it's like, oh, I liked that. Oh, you're just doing that again.
Well, Heroes had like the writers' strike working against it. And they
Yeah.
just never recovered.
Yeah.
Oh, but so one of the things that happens in Being Human is that like he has this bad thing that happens to him in season 1. The kid dies, etc., and then he goes to like that
Spoilers.
den where he's feasting on other vampires, and so
Yeah.
that makes me go, oh, okay, this show must be playing off of the Dead Man's Blood type of deal where he's
See,
feeding
but
off of
dead
other
man's
vampires.
blood is different than vampire blood. They're consuming it and they're creating it into their own life force, and that was the whole point of that episode of Being Human.
And I agree
It's
with that
because
notion.
he's bleeding other vampires dry, and as I said, vampire crack.
He did act kind of crazy.
He
afterwards.
did.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mine become extremely violent, and
Do you have ghosts in yours?
I have ghosts. Not
Goats?
many.
Ghosts?
No, they're ghosts. I have witches. I have fays,
Poltergeist?
which are okay. Fays remind me of True Blood because you've got so many damn different types.
How so, Willow?
Well, you've just got 100 different types of fays. You've got crossbreeds. You've got immortals, which is really based on mad magic, which is alchemy.
Okay.
For all you people who have no idea what mad magic is, read a book. Really, my book.
There you go. What's the name of that book again, Mike?
The Blood Saga.
There you go.
What's the name of the first book? Is that
Blood Rose is the first book.
okay?
New Blood is the second book, and it is coming out in January.
Okay. Because I was like, I
And
thought
you've
the book
done
was
all
called
your cover
Blood
work.
Rose.
Yes, I paint my own covers, and I've actually got 3 books coming out this year. I've got
Wow.
Reaping Grim coming out at
He is so jealous right now.
sometime in August, and Guardian's Emissary you are gonna like. It's
Yeah?
dragons.
Ooh, I see dragons.
Yes,
is my thing.
it is. Dragons is his thing, and it's a good one.
Yeah.
It's epic. I'm pretty happy with this one, but I have to wait until December
Why do you have to wait?
because I published it that it's going to be out in December. So now it's
So you
set
have
in
it-
stone.
you have it
It's set
now?
in paper.
You have it now? Do you have
No.
a
Yeah, this is
tangible
how
copy?
publishing works, Roper.
In the
Do you have a
actual
tangible
print copy.
Shut your mouth, Mike. I'm
In the
trying to
print
work something
copy
here.
of Blood Rose on the very last page shows
Hit
the
it.
next 4
Hit it,
books
hit it.
coming out.
Un momento, por favor.
What? This is so awkward.
Yeah, no.
You've basically just told him you have some freshly minted crack. And he's like, can I get some crack?
What do I need to do here?
Yes, Internet, I realize you don't mint crack.
You can read it on your computer.
Yeah?
There you go. It's
right.
done. It's done. I'm just torturing everyone because all these books are done. In fact, 4 books in the Blood Saga are done, and you will not have those until 4 years pass, and then there's going to be a 5th.
I remember why we're not friends anymore.
Because I like to torture people
Yes.
in
Just like-
reality
just-
and on paper.
Hey, just remember, folks, she said it herself earlier this evening. She only tortures those she really likes.
There you go.
Well, that means
My
she really
friends.
likes all of her
Hey, wait a minute.
readers.
That's why I don't have any friends anymore.
They're all dead in my basement.
She got them mauled by tigers.
Just realized it. That's where I went wrong.
I take everyone to the zoo and I throw them in the tiger den.
So, you guys want to come over for dinner?
I got plans.
And I provide my own food. And is being,
That's fine. You
is
can bring your own food.
Mike,
Are Kevlar vests rude?
I use knives, so sure.
Kevlar vests don't stop knives, is what she's saying, and that is a true statement.
we just dropped all pretext there. It's just like,
Well, I'll wear a Kevlar vest under a suit of armor.
Full plate?
Half plate. I'm not that big a guy.
no, let's really get into detail on this.
Are you going to
hypothetical
wear your
situation.
wizard hat?
No, because the top of my skull would then be exposed
He's always wearing his wizard hat.
on the inside.
No, Internet. Jareth is literally wearing a wizard hat.
He's lying.
No,
No,
I'm
he's not. There's a wizard hat on your head right now.
Oh my god, they're
okay.
right.
Oh my god.
We just didn't tell him we put it there. He hasn't noticed.
No, it's Jareth Mooneyham, perpetual wizard.
So
Totally
I know we're getting relatively close to the ending. We still have 15
we're-
minutes or
we're
so,
doing
but
good.
I want to do one of my favorite things to do to all genres. What are our least favorite things? Okay, let's take Twilight off the table. We all automatically hate it.
You're an asshole.
That's a cop-out answer. So what are the things we hate about vampires? What are the easy outs? What are the dumb loopholes people use?
I had issues with Anne Rice's vampires, actually. I
Okay.
liked their attitude, but she really made them manic. And
Very, very
extremely
dramatic.
manic and extremely freaking needy. Like, hospitalized straitjacket, don't you come near me, needy.
Yeah, they had some problems.
It
Yes.
is
We're
a
not-
common theme.
But
in
as far
vampire.
as their weaknesses, she nailed the weaknesses.
Yeah.
She did a really good job portraying that.
For sure.
Again, Christopher Farnsworth, he nailed the weaknesses too. Dracula, traditional. I'm not exactly traditional, so I'm probably outing myself here that I don't play by their rules, but I don't play by anybody's rules. I never have.
she's a loose cannon
that is
cop
true.
on the
That
edge.
is true. That's true.
Yeah, you write your own books. You're
Exactly.
damn vampires. Do what you want with them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me, if I had to pick something, it would be that I feel like vampirism should be a curse. So it shouldn't be like a thing of like, why wouldn't I be a vampire? Because it's just great. Because like in a lot of fiction, it's like it's just great. Just be a vampire. It's you live forever. You're
like-
really powerful. You're sexy.
So, like True Blood, you're not
Yeah.
down with the True Blood.
See, True Blood did have one great thing going for him. It didn't matter what you looked like. That's how you stayed.
Isn't there like that one guy
Yes,
who's like
the chubby guy who's just this average, really dorky, unpopular.
Wait, the one that was in his inside, always watching
That got
sitcoms?
chained up.
The
Yeah.
guy from
Yes.
News Radio.
Yeah.
Yes, the guy that got chained up. Yeah. And then, of course, there is that really big, monstrously fat vampire in Blade that had the creepy voice.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he exploded.
yeah, but that one got
I don't know how
turned
that
into
happened.
that. They ate too much.
Oh, that's
they talk
disgusting.
about it.
Oh, yeah, I don't remember that part. That's disgusting.
They just kept him down there watching the screens and kept feeding him, and he never moved. And got
So
fat.
vampires can get fat.
in
Interesting.
Blade, at least, yeah.
Interesting.
I like your answer about over emotional vampires because that's definitely there's a fine line.
There is a fine line, and I know you said rule out Twilight, but there,
Oh, God.
Twilight
'Cause-
is the most emotionally needy.
This is why I rule out Twilight because it does everything wrong really hard.
Yes.
He's so bad.
And at one point, I have to respect Stephanie Meyer. She got millions of kids reading that were not.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
Until
she
the
wrote a
movies
dream.
came
She
out.
did not edit it, and she's a billionaire now. What the fuck?
Right.
I have to thank her too because I got some sexy time for watching the first one.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You down with that?
You can go see 50 Shades of Grey. I would rather burn in hell a few times.
50 Shades of
I
Vampire.
actually have more issues with 50 Shades of Grey than I do Twilight. I would rather watch Twilight for the rest of my life
Sure.
than no other movie.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. What about Roper Jareth? Problems with vampires?
Jareth, go first.
Well, the curse aspect is a big one.
I think we probably agree on that.
Because a common thread in modern vampirism media is to remove the drawbacks.
Yeah.
Especially when you're making them kind of the sex symbol. Like, oh, well, we can go out in the daylight and we can resist our hunger. Or maybe we don't even need to feed. It's just like a thing we do sometimes if we feel like it.
Now, my first book starts that way. It's the second book. He's hiding it. He hides everything. It looks like a pretty good thing. He's also 600 freaking years old. So he's learned a little bit of self-control.
Yeah.
However, when she turns, she has no self-control.
Right. That's one of my favorite things about vampires. That's so enthralling to me is that basically the older you are as a vampire, the stronger you get.
Yes.
So I don't know. That's just awesome to me. So
the other aspect, actually the one that you brought up, so it's a very common trait in modern vampirism that all of them suffer some sort of mental disability, basically. Yeah. They're all crazy. Some either they're totally bloodthirsty, they're super whiny and needy, or they're constantly broody.
I can't love anyone; they'll just die.
I only smolder all the time because I'm so sad about being immortal.
With perfect health and perfect fucking hair.
Especially when I can avoid all of the drawbacks.
Yeah.
They do blue steel. So there's a lot that I don't like in modern vampire media.
Okay, aside from Twilight, worst vampire movie?
Ooh, man.
I Am Legend.
No, that was a good
Just
movie.
because you did that to me?
No, that was a really good movie, and it wasn't. It didn't focus on traditional vampires.
They're
It was just like
vampires. They're fucking
it was
zombies.
a virus.
There's zombies.
It was a virus that
Shut your dirty
devoured
mouth.
you.
We need a zombie episode so I can just rail you about zombies, okay?
You'd like
Because
to
I have
rail
had
me.
time to just fester on this.
I know, it's bothering me.
Modern media.
How many episodes ago was it that we had this discussion the first time?
Yeah, he's been thinking about it a lot.
I've been thinking about it for the past 5 years.
You haven't known me that long.
We ruined zombies.
Oh, what's the zombie movie where he has a freaking human girlfriend?
Oh,
Twilight?
No.
Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies. Oh, what the fuck?
Terrible.
No?
Terrible.
Isn't he a zombie?
He's
Yeah,
a zombie. He's trying to eat her brains, and she's like, "Oh, baby, I love you."
What, no, it's because he eats the girlfriend's boyfriend's brains, and he incorporates that guy's emotions. Remember?
I actually didn't watch the movie. I would
have.
not watch the movie.
I
You
have.
could not pay me to
I
watch
have.
the movie.
See, doing this, I watch all movies regardless of how bad they are because
okay,
I want
guess
to be able to
that's
talk
true,
about
but
them.
I just know.
It's atrocious. It's atrocious.
Yeah, I
It's not
couldn't.
angled for you. It's angled for
It's-
people whose hormones aren't balanced yet.
Like mine.
Hey, I like zombies, but I also, don't want to go see like an actual zombie movie where it's like fucking scary and stuff.
Because you can't really take your girl to that.
Anyhow, my take.
A
Unless
smart
they're
guy?
a keeper.
A smart guy takes their girl to the scariest movie they can find.
Yeah, so they cling to you.
Cuddle up.
Yeah.
Human centipede, let's do it.
That's not scary.
Wrong.
That's
Wrong.
vomitous.
Yeah, that is fucking horrible. So my big beef with most takes on vampires is, as you've said, it's a curse, but everything is always, for whatever reason, completely hinged around Christianity.
Oh,
And
okay.
I don't necessarily think
Oh, well, you know me well enough. That's not an issue.
not for you.
Yeah.
No, I'm not
cool.
talking
Not an
about
issue.
you. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about we're talking about others, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
'cause-
true. It's all, you can't go onto hollow ground, no church.
Yeah, so
No
it's
crosses.
okay. Stephen King does it in Jerusalem's Lot. He's got the priest that's in it, and of course he's got a cross up, and he's yelling to the vampire, and the vampire's coming at him, and somehow his faith falters, and he reaches up and snaps the arms off the cross, and
I'll tell you what, if that vampire's still walking towards me and it's not working, my faith might falter too.
well, I think that's, but
Reminds me of
chopping
Priest.
its head off, hitting it with silver. You can sit there and go, this is going to kill you. There's some type of an allergic reaction or whatever it is, right? I mean, obviously you tag any of us in here with something like...
The silver has throwbacks to a biblical reference also.
But it doesn't necessarily have to have that tie-in.
It's also considered a purifying agent.
Yeah.
Which
but
means
it
it's
doesn't
used
have to
against
have the tie.
impure evil.
Yeah, it doesn't have to have the tie-in to Christianity.
Exactly. Yeah, because like vampirism weirdly shows up in all cultures.
It
All over
does
the place.
every single culture.
Jesus was a vampire.
God
He
damn
was
it.
a zombie.
Oh.
Oh, well.
I thought we agreed he was like a lich or something.
What about his brother Bob?
Catholics
His name's
are all
Craig.
Catholics
Craig
are all
Christ.
vampires.
It's Craig Christ, actually. And if you think I'm wrong, there's a song by Stephen Lynch on
there
YouTube
is a
about it.
song, Jesus Brother Bob. Look
Jeez,
it up.
I will. He
You're
apparently
gonna
has
love
two
it.
brother Bobs. Or he has a brother Bob and a brother named Craig.
We'll have those songs
Jesus
playing.
was a carpenter. Was his brother a builder? Bob?
Bob the Builder. Bob the
Oh,
Builder.
there we go.
And you don't even have kids.
Not that I know of.
So we are at 5 minutes to the end of the episode here, a little past that actually. So we're going to go ahead and kind of wrap things a little bit. Anything you want to add about the diecast?
Oh yeah. So originally called the Dungeon Cast, and then
Yep.
we realized this is not Dungeons and Dragons,
Nope.
and we're definitely not doing a dungeon crawl.
Nope.
So we decided to rename it. I literally an hour
Today?
ago,
Yeah.
I was like, Jareth, what's a good name for our podcast? And he goes, Diecast.
Perfect.
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 Yeah, so that'll be an urban fantasy set in Boston. Should be a trip, that's for sure. I don't know how it's going to go, but should be cool. I think we'll be recording it at the end of this month or something like that. And
yeah,
then
I need to talk to you about scheduling stuff.
it'll come up next month for sure.
So, I haven't done it before. Jareth, do you have anything you want to add at the end of the episode?
No.
No, that's why I don't.
Wow,
have you
he
at the
didn't even have a joke or anything.
nothing. So
He
that's
just
why I don't.
deflated.
I felt it coming as soon as you looked at me. I'm like, oh crap, he's going to ask me.
And
I was like,
gone.
come up with something witty.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw out Unhindered Arts.
Unhinderedarts.com.
Unhinderedarts.com.
It's under construction, so don't blame me.
Yeah. Who you got working on your site? You got peoples?
Me.
You got peoples?
No, I
everything?
had people's. They're in the basement. So
Yeah, she fed them to her pet tiger.
and Rexy.
And Rexy.
And Rexy.
That's exactly right. But you're on Facebook
Yep.
sometimes.
Well, once a month. I'm a hermit. I am a traditional nerd. I am not game nerd. I am the hermit that writes and never comes out of her house except for once a year. So this is it, people. I'm not going out
That's
again.
all.
Perfect.
Done.
I'm totally down with you being on our show and no one else's.
Where is the best place for us to pick up your books?
Amazon.com.
That's right.
Amazon.com.
Is that the best place for
Yes.
you get the most money off of that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Amazon.
Amazon.com.
Awesome. Is it
Amazon.com.
physical copy or digital?
Both.
Cool.
Yes,
Okay.
and the book is over an inch thick, so it's worth the money.
Hell
All
yeah.
right.
Hell yeah. So
I don't shut up when I start writing.
with that's not a problem. So with us, one of the things that we've got going, and we might have to talk to you about maybe at least putting a link over to some of your stuff on it. D.A. Roberts has set up a publishing company of his own, and we at minimum need to link your stuff to some of our stuff.
That's fine, but no, you cannot hire me.
I'm
I
not
do not
hiring you.
edit anymore.
Not hiring you.
I did edit professionally.
Not hiring you.
I'm so done.
So darkwaterfiction.com. You get a chance, get over, check out darkwaterfiction.com. Josh has actually been working on the site construction itself. It actually does a really good job. Looks really
Yeah, good job, Josh.
I do have some excellent files I can send that are great for publicity and everything else that you can
That'd be great.
suck the life out of. Go
That would
for
be
it.
great. I will
More
vampire that
vampirism.
stuff. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
right.
So yes, that would be great. If you haven't had a chance, get over Alltower Media. AllTowerPodcast.com is our site. Alltower Media on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook, all that good business. You can go on there and get a shirt. Show us your crits.
Yep.
You're welcome, world.
Yeah, exactly. We made a shirt that says "Show us your crits." It's wonderful. If you haven't had a chance, you need to get over and check it out. You can even get that on a pair of panties. I found out they actually have that.
You can get it on your shower curtain if you want, or pillows, or blankets. Trust me,
I'm
you
sure
can
you
get it on anything.
I don't know why you brought up panties and like looked at me.
You invoke feelings.
Yeah, he didn't look at me.
He was like, Jareth, you can get those on your panties.
Well,
Just a suggestion.
just throwing that out there,
I'm
big
coming
guy.
over Saturday.
So, if you haven't already done so, check out all of our stuff. Make sure you absolutely get over and check out unhinderedarts.com. Even though it's under construction, buy her book, give her comments. Artists love getting comments back about their work.
We do.
It's fully appreciated. Lastly, though, and then I'm going to call this a wrap at the end of this, Dyer, how has that been, sir?
Dyer has been good. We did our debut episode,
I watched it.
and
It was wonderful.
looked good.
It looked great.
So hopefully we'll have an in-office alpha at the end of this month, and that leads to a open alpha sometime next month.
That is friggin' amazing.
I should say invitation only sometime next month, then an open alpha.
We have reached the point where we are almost, we've probably got maybe 20 cards left that we need to get imagery for.
Oh.
I'm going to print off tangible copies. I'd like to bring them over here and let you guys play.
Yep, we're going to play them.
You guys too.
Awesome.
You probably won't play our card game, so I'll just save the cards for later. Just because you're a hermit. You're
I
not going
am
to come
a
back
hermit.
out of your cave.
No, maybe in January, and that'll be my once a year in January.
Hell yeah.
And you can hear all about the dragons or talk about the dragons because I'm sure you will have read it by then.
We're going to have you back on. You know that, right?
For sure.
I want to have you back on here again. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll figure out what genre you fit into with us again, and we'll make that happen. This has been our 13th episode.
Woo, lucky number.
Unlucky.
Hey,
That's my lucky number, actually.
13th episode for Spoilercast. I'm really glad everybody got a chance to come in here tonight. Jackie, I'm glad you got a chance to come in here and hang out with us and tell us a little bit about what's going on with you and in your books.
yes,
Other than that, guys, have a good night.
indeed.
Goodbye, Internet.
Excelsior.
I love turtles.